Hi, welcome back. This is part two in a three-part series. I'm Sajit, and I'm the creator of this new self-guided e-course called You're Just Right, 5 Steps to Self-Acceptance. In the first video, I shared a personal story that had to do with a feeling of failure after I came back from a mission to volunteer in Nepal and it had not gone as I had planned. I might have gone down that slippery slope of self negativity, except that fortunately I was saved by an even stronger voice within me, which was the voice of self compassion and self acceptance. That experience really opened my heart and helped me to be more compassionate toward myself. And at the same time, it also helped me to be much more compassionate toward other people who I could see were also being too hard on themselves. It's really a very common pattern or a theme for a lot of women, especially if they're on a path of personal growth, spiritual awakening, and transformation, that they so much want to improve themselves and to grow that it's hard for them to accept who they are right now. And so they have a tendency to put themselves down and feel like they're lacking in some way. These are beautiful, powerful, creative, and spiritual women who have so much going for them, but they feel like in some way they're not good enough or smart enough or sexy enough or whatever, fill in the blank, enough. And if you're resonating with what I'm talking about, you probably have your own way of describing these feelings. For some women, they talk about feeling unworthy or not deserving, or they feel inadequate, or compare themselves a lot to other people and feel like they just don't measure up. Maybe you find it difficult to really see your own value and also to value your gifts. In that first video, I talked about a paradox that is really important to understand when you are on a path of personal and spiritual growth. And here's the paradox. You are just right, exactly as you are, and there are always things that could be improved or developed or transformed. Having imperfections doesn't mean that you're a flawed person. It just means that you're human. Accepting yourself doesn't mean that you won't be able to continue to grow. Actually, it's essential that we accept ourselves right now in order to move forward. In my own example, where my inner critic was telling me I was a failure, if I had kept listening to that voice and had not been able to feel compassion for myself and had not been able to accept my wholeness exactly as I am, then I wouldn't have had the confidence and the courage and the motivation to create this course. Working with the inner critic is one of the 5 steps to self acceptance. And I want to share with you a quote from one of the students in the course. Here's what she said. It was very liberating to let go of the things my inner critic was saying to me. I now feel more free and confident to be who I am, to share my passion and my truth, without trying to meet the unrealistic expectations of my inner critic. The tools that I share in this course are the same tools that I've successfully used with my coaching and counseling clients for the past 25 years. And I want to share some stories, some examples of how this work has been helpful to many of the women I've worked with. I worked with one woman who was a very effective professional, but she was always comparing herself to her coworkers and feeling like she just couldn't measure up to them. And the supervisors that she had in job after job never really seemed to recognize her value. In our work together, she was able to challenge that false belief that she wasn't good enough, that her work just somehow wasn't good enough. In her next job, she presented herself with much more confidence, and she was quickly promoted. I worked with another woman who was having struggles, challenges in her relationship, and she was having a hard time really speaking her truth to her partner about the issues that she was having. And what was holding her back was that she felt like, well, maybe it was her fault because maybe she just wasn't trying hard enough. When the truth was that he was the one who really wasn't working very hard at the relationship. She was working much harder than he was. When she was able to see that she was doing her best, and when she had more compassion for herself in that situation, she was able to speak her truth. And now they have much more harmony and balance in the relationship because they're both equally engaged and working on it. Here's one last example. I worked with a woman who was really struggling with her body weight and had a cycle. She was caught in a cycle of hating her body and then overeating to try to numb her feelings. And then after the binge, she'd hate her body even more. In our work together, she was able to start by accepting herself and accepting her body just as it was. And with much more of a feeling of inner peace, she didn't have that same compulsion to overeat. And in time, her eating patterns became much more healthy. And she actually came to really love her body. In the 5 steps to self-acceptance, it's all about embracing all of who you are. It's about seeing your wholeness. And wholeness is really what we're after, not perfection. Let me say that again. What we're really after is to experience our wholeness, not to try to meet some ideal of perfection. I invite you to join me in the 3rd and final video, where I'll be sharing all the details about the course, what's in it, how it works, and how you can sign up when registration opens on June 10th. So I'll see you in the next video.